This is for the creators. Welcome back, people. Welcome back. How you doing, V?
Yo, guys. I'm good, you know.
I'm really good. I'm really good too. Just for those who are just checking in with us for the first time, I'm Ryan now.
I'm Vinaya Bass.
And this is for the creators. Creative culture.
Creative X culture.
Oh yeah, Creative X culture. I'm all remixing the name in my head right now.
Yeah, but before we get into the episode, I think we definitely have to talk about yesterday, because yesterday was a little bit nuts. The fact that we were recording yesterday in a makeshift studio, fire alarm went off.
Yeah,
Ryan
crazy.
saw a long lost friend. It was
the set of circumstances that happened yesterday was just nuts. So we're working on a podcast series for an organisation, and we set up a makeshift studio in a room basically. We hit record. As soon as we hit record, we just hear crash bang wallet from upstairs. There was a bunch of works going on. Had to unpack everything and put it up somewhere else. Took another 20 minutes. As soon as we did that, the fire alarm went off in the whole building. It was like, are you being serious?
if anything could happen, it happened yesterday. So
yeah.
no.
But you know what? I've noticed, like, in all my creative endeavors, whenever you're working on something good, there's a bit of resistance. Whether it's like, I don't know, making a beat and then there's like technical issues or something. There's like a bit of pushback. But once you push through, you know, it works out.
Yeah, I think the good thing about that is that we didn't actually give up. Like, we could have easily said, oh, let's do it another day or whatever, but we just kept on going.
Absolutely.
And in the end, we managed to pull things off. But my main point for bringing it up is just how sometimes when things seem like they're going left, they could be going right, because you met someone that you saw someone that you hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how life and all the circumstances and how all of our paths end up crossing, and things happen a long time in advance, because for us to be in that building on a Saturday, which is not unusual, but we're usually there in the week.
Yeah.
For the fire alarm to go off.
For the fire engines to come, and then for one of the firemen to be a long lost friend. Like, it's crazy.
It's so crazy. I'm still looking forward to finding out what was the reason for you reconnecting with him again.
Yeah, for real. For real. Big up,
that
Luke.
Was pretty.
Big up, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the last couple of weeks, we've had a tragic loss. We want to say rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, and our condolences to his family and anyone that knew him personally. It's crazy because the world was shocked, you know, when we heard the news of his passing, and it really, for me personally, it really rocked my spirit. And I know I wasn't the only one who felt that way, because everything I've seen and heard from other people is, you know, they felt the same way too. And this week's just been really weird. You know, it's had everyone kind of examine just life in general, man. Like, such a good, positive guy, you know. It's like, how can something happen like that? So, you know, just want to send our love and thoughts to everyone that knows him and his family. Yeah.
The thing is that the thing about Nipsey, which is so not strange, but still strange in a way, is the fact that he was a rapper, but most people know him for his philanthropy and for his entrepreneurship, and, you know, for how innovative he was and forward thinking.
Exactly.
So I think for him as an individual, like, he's left a legacy that maybe music wouldn't have been able to create for him.
Yeah, I think you're right, you know. It's funny, and I love that, like, we was talking about it yesterday, you and I, like, we were fans of him as a person, you know. I'm a musician, but I have to admit, I'd never, like, really listened to his music as such, but I've watched all of his interviews, like speeches that he'd done. I watched a little, like, keynote speech that he did where he was sharing a story on how he discovered Idris Sandu, who is a tech whiz. He's a designer, from LA, and he wrote algorithms for Snapchat, Instagram, Uber, I believe. I don't know if Instagram, but Uber. I know. Some like he's really, really ahead of the game, you know. And
Such a
he,
deep thinker as well. Like
yeah, man,
he's so deep. Like
yeah, yeah. So he was saying at this talk, it was like a community talk. I think there may have been like 20 people in the audience in this massive theater, which just goes to show that he was doing things for the community. It didn't have to be like a 2,000 people in the theater, you know. But he was saying that he walked into, I think it was Starbucks, and he see this kid on a laptop doing some like augmented reality stuff, and he went up to him and was like, "Oh, what are you working on?" And they got into talking. He's like, "Well, I've got this store, this like fashion label. Like, let's work on something together." And they did, and they ended up developing an augmented reality application so that you can hold up your phone to the different garments and the CDs and listen to the songs. And it was like one of the first immersive shopping experiences that combined fashion and music. And that's how I then heard of Idris Sandu, and furthermore how I heard more of Nipsey Hussle's like entrepreneurship activities, you know. And then I watched the whole Gary V daily was it Daily V that he does with
yeah.
Nipsey, you know. And you just hear the philosophy and stuff, and it's like, wow, like we've really, really lost someone that was
Yeah, for
full
me
of
it was
energy
like
and creativity.
he was like the modern day Tupac, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you obviously his background and you know where he came from, and
Mm.
some people were trying to say, oh, that's the reason why he got shot and everything else.
Well, for the people that don't know, what was his background?
So he was in gangs and whatnot, but you can almost say that he was basically a product of his environment that he grew up in, but he didn't try to stay there.
And he didn't.
So
Yeah, yeah.
and he didn't stay there. So you can't hold someone as a victim to their past. You know, you can't
Yeah.
hold them accountable for things that they did. When sometimes it just comes down to survival. Because if you've heard anything about South Central LA, and like it's not easy on those streets. So
No.
and for me, the fact that he continued to go back to his local area and to try and give back. And unfortunately, that was the same place that his life was taken. But I think the good thing about his life is that he's left behind a legacy, and you're not hearing anyone saying anything negative about Nipsey. I think that's what really stands out as well. You know, like sometimes when you go on social media, there's like people have different views. So there might be some people who may praise someone who's passed away, and someone who would find a reason to knock them down. But I think universally, everyone's got positive things to say about Nipsey. So may his soul rest in peace, man.
Absolutely.
It's so sad because I felt the same way when I heard the news. I had never heard any of his music, and I still haven't. But I knew about all of the good things that he was doing, and for me, that is a legacy, and his life wasn't for nothing. So
Absolutely. And I think as well that it's inspired many people around the world, you know, to continue that great work within their own communities, and and continue that spirit. I think it's kind of lit up a flame in many, which in itself is legacy. So that is
hopefully inspires.
It inspires people.
And
his brand was called Marathon, and the marathon continues.
And life is a marathon.
Yeah.
So it's such a sad story, but yes, let's move on to something a little bit more uplifting.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Lil Nas X, right. So this is a hell of a story. So there's an artist in America called Lil Nas X, if you didn't know, and he has a song called Old Town Road, which combines country music and trap. So something you'd expect to hear in a club, but it's a country song that you can sing along to, and it's actually properly sick. Like the melodies and everything is something you can really sing along to. And that song got massive online the last few months and was climbing the charts and stuff, and it was included in the Billboard country charts. until they decided this isn't country music.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna kick you off, and they did, and there was a massive uproar. But all the while, Lil Nas on his Twitter, I believe he put out, "I'd love to get Billy Ray Cyrus on this, who's a country star, Miley Cyrus's dad," and then he tweeted, I think he tweeted that in October or December, I can't remember. And then he quote tweeted it saying, "It happened." So then everyone got like crazy, like, "Well, when's this gonna drop?" And then he dropped the studio video with Billy Ray Cyrus singing on the song, like the remix. And yeah, it's sick. It's sick. So that's like, whoa. Your move, Billboard. Now what? This is definitely country now, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's funny because like I listen to the song, it don't get more country than that. Like, so what is your point?
Right.
This has really got something to do with, like, I don't want to pull the black card, but what other card can you pull when they did the same thing to Beyonce in 2016 when she tried to release a country track? So it's like, what constitutes country? Like, what makes the song country? Because there's a white person behind the mic.
It would seem. I mean, that's the kind of conclusions that you have to. You don't have to, but with the stories,
it's where it leads.
That's where it leads, exactly. And it's like, seriously, like, it's just music, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the
like,
thing as well. It's like pop these days. You know, I remember we spoke about pop in one of our past episodes, and back in the day, pop music was essentially typical white girl, you know, Britney style artists who dominated the charts. But now there's such a multicultural, global world. Not that we weren't before, but it's just
the biggest pop stars in the world are from Korea. So
exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So it's not about holding on to a genre because you grew up in Texas or in the country or whatever. It's about the sound. So if someone from the UK wanted to start singing country music, why shouldn't they be able to?
Yeah, I think it's like a what's it? Like, this is our group.
Yeah, you can't join this club.
You can't,
it's not that easy to join this club.
Yeah. What, you think you can just get a guitar and sing a melody and that's country music? Well, yeah. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's so stupid. So
and that's how new genres develop, though. It's such a strange thing because it's like when you think of like jazz and the blues and all of that, they influence like rock and roll, and do you know what I mean? So it's a modern day. You have to allow other people to come in and play with instruments and look at things from a different perspective. It doesn't take away from country, but you should be welcoming younger people to even be interested in country in the first place. So if it's going to take a black man to bring a younger audience to your industry, then, or to your genre, why not?
Exactly. And most of these genres were birthed in the black community in the first place. So there's that to contend with as well. But yeah, I think the point is, if we want country music to be big and to be listened to by the next generation, like, you should be all for it. It's crazy. So
that's the thing, because what they need to realize is that even with country music, they probably have an aging fan base. So when those people die out, who's going to listen to country music if you're not allowing younger artists to take up the guitar? Yeah. And, you know, start playing around with it. And I feel like...
And also different communities.
Exactly.
You know?
I don't think there's any harm in exposing your genre of music to a wider fan base or a wider community.
Absolutely.
Because I know for a fact that this song alone has probably done more for country music in a long time than maybe the songs that reach the top of the charts, because we all know that it doesn't take a lot to get to the top of the charts these days. But the level of awareness that...
it's a cultural shift.
yeah, inadvertently, what they tried to do is actually drawn more awareness to it than if they just let him go in the damn track.
Yeah, for real. So maybe maybe it could be a good strategy by then.
Yeah, like if you sort of just said like, "Yeah, man, cool, man, come true," no one would even care about the track. The track probably would have just gone in, done a few numbers or whatever, got kicked out by another country track. But now that you've done this because you've gone to the extreme to prove a point,
yes, yeah,
you're actually giving it more publicity than it would have had otherwise.
Fan the flames.
Yeah.
So yeah, big up Lil Nas X. Keep on doing your thing.
Yeah, man. And that ties in really nicely with our next topic, which is about, our regular.
Oh, is she back? Our third host. Hey.
Obviously,
hey,
B. B has to make an appearance, but this topic is actually relevant to the next topic, well, the last topic that is, because Beyonce has just signed a mega deal with Adidas to release her brand Ivy Park.
Yes.
Or work with them to release their brand Ivy Park. But apparently there's a rumor out there which says that basically she was supposed to sign with Reebok first.
That's right, yeah.
But when she went into the meeting room, she said that your employees do not reflect who I am. They're not diverse enough to be able to really portray my brand in the light that I'd want it to. So I thought, Beyonce does not play.
Yeah, man. That's well, just to dial back a bit as well. She originally, Ivy Parks was a collaboration between Beyonce and Topshop, and she then acquired the brand back, and was probably looking for another partner. Went to Reebok, and like you said, the team
allegedly,
yeah. But I swear I saw something from someone that knew. But anyway, yeah, okay, allegedly. She's gone into the room and it's not diverse enough. I think for people that say, like these artists and these business people really need to stand for things and put their money where their mouth is and things like that, I think that's a massive move. I think it says a lot and it sends ripples to big companies like that, because it's like, oh, we lost it because we weren't diverse enough.
And the thing is, I think she's smart, because obviously we know it's Beyonce and we know Ivy Park, but a woman of her caliber, let's face it, Beyonce is not there to be able to sign off every single garment or every single thing that's released under her brand. So she needs to have that confidence in the organization that she's working with, that they're going to put out things that positively reflect her, because
that's right.
For them to put out an advert like the Pepsi advert,
or the H&M advert, or
the
H&M
like advert,
that could be crippling for her.
Ivy Park on it. That's the end of her career.
Because
it's like, Black Twitter don't play.
Does not play. Does not. No,
they will come for her with
that's it.
The quickness.
Well, cancel culture would just be, Beyonce's cancelled, Ivy Park's cancelled, everything cancelled.
Exactly, and that could just be down to one person's silly mistake or an oversight. But on the bigger scale of things as well, it's very important when you have her power and her reach, you have to say things like that. And she's done that in the past with obviously Vogue.
Yep.
With her Vogue shoot, where she demanded that the photographer, and it's so strange to think that at the time, that was 2018, because she featured in the US September issue for Vogue in 2018, and she demanded that the photographer was a black photographer, and that was the first black photographer on the cover of Vogue in 2019.
Yep.
So
yeah,
if you don't call it out, who will? And I rate her for that.
Absolutely. So big ratings on that deal, and we look forward to that Adidas collaboration.
Yeah, it's crazy because I just love Beyonce, because Beyonce just doesn't scream and shout, or she just drops it and and what?
That's it, man. I was thinking about that. Like, not everyone speaks on social media and stuff in captions or tweets. Some people, do it with their actions, and I feel like Beyonce and Jay-Z are two of those people. So I think it's a good example. Sometimes actions do speak louder than words.
definitely. And we saw Jay-Z as well, side note, picking up an NAACP award.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
But
Congrats.
we're not finished with Queen Bee just yet.
Nah, she's been inking deals left, right, and centre.
She's such a force. And the thing is, as well, she's bringing out a Netflix, that docuseries about her performance at Coachella.
Yeah.
Which just shows me that she's a boss, because obviously that was last year and all heap of people watch it.
Was that only last year?
Yeah.
Oh my God, time flies, you know. That's crazy.
So to think that it was last year and she's still able to make money off of that performance, but it was a powerful performance anyway.
It was, and for me, like as an artist growing up, without those kind of documentaries, you don't really know what goes into a real solid performance, you know, and all of the creative people that have to come together to really smash it, you know, because it's a one-time only thing. You flop that performance. Psh.
I think it was like 26 songs.
Yeah. Like, and wasn't it all? Oh, I can't remember.
It was all black, wasn't it?
All women?
I know that her band is all women.
Her band's all women, yeah.
I don't know if it was all women. I think I saw some guys in there.
Okay.
Some male-like performers, and I know that she dances with the twins.
That's right, yeah.
And all of that. So I think it's just her band.
Right.
That's all female. But she's just so powerful. The thing, I've never been to a Beyonce concert, and I've tried.
Let's put it out there. Our third host. Look, she's been our third host for how many episodes? 60?
Yeah.
She should be inviting us by now, really.
Exactly. I mean, Beyonce, like, how many times do I need to say my name, say your name?
Yeah, man. But yeah, big up. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's dropping April 17th.
Oh, wow. You got the date, yeah?
Yeah. Inside info, come on.
Sorry, mama. Should have known better.
But look at that. That really dials back to what we were saying before about Netflix only promoting things just before it drops.
Mm-hmm.
So what's today? We're like a couple weeks away from when it's going to drop. So enough time for it to build up some hype. And also Coachella Festival's happening next week and the week after, I believe, in Los Angeles.
Perfect timing, really.
Yeah. I'll go Los Angeles the week after.
Oh, shame.
Yeah. I was considering going this week before, but I mean, for whatever reason, it was the week after that I picked. But I didn't even know when Coachella was, to be fair. So.
Yeah, well, this is not going to be like the Fire Festival documentary.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But you know, I heard that they're actually selling merch. And Ja Rule's been like going around saying that he would like to do another Fire Festival, even though it's like, how are you going to do another one? I mean,
another
you never
one.
actually really...
Exactly.
You never really did the first one, mate.
Right. They're just trying to capitalize on the name and the hype, innit?
Yeah. Which brings us on to another Coachella performer.
Yeah, and we spoke about this in our last Creative X Culture, and that is Kanye West's Sunday service. I don't know if you checked the link that we put up in the show notes last time, but Kanye and a massive band, choir, every Sunday have been doing a Sunday service, which is a mix of like gospel songs, a mix of soul songs, mix of Kanye songs. And it's really cool, and it's really getting traction online. And he's booked a show for the Sunday service on the Sunday of Coachella, which is going to be amazing. So
that's dope, because I actually heard the Kardashians talking about Sunday service, and they said that they actually don't do any praying or anything like that. It's literally just vibes and just come in and just like singing. But they said the reason why it's been working and it's attracting a lot of people is because it's almost like a place of no judgment, because sometimes when you go to church, you almost feel that pressure, and also for who they are, you know, as celebrities. I guess when you go into the average church, all eyes are going to be on you, just even to watch how you worship and things like that.
True, yeah.
So coming into this safe space just allows them to come and unite through song. So that's really good. But it's also good for Kanye, because I feel like it's given him a break from Twitter. Something to focus on.
Yeah.
But I also think it takes the focus back to music and
Mm.
less Kanye.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that's really positive for him.
I can just imagine that as a musician, the feeling of being there, and I can't describe how good it is when you're collaborating on that level with so many people, and it really ties together, and you just get this magical feeling. And then obviously not obviously, the rest of the people there that are watching or being a part of it, they can feel it too, and it's just incredible. So I can only imagine how fun and uplifting it is for all of them.
Do you think they practice?
Yeah, 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 definitely.
They must do, innit?
Yeah, definitely.
So
I'd imagine they practice throughout the week, and then they get dressed in their all white or whatever the theme is, and then get to it. Yeah, you have to practice because the level of songs and the amount of people, the harmonies, the arrangements and stuff is, you have to practice. But yeah, this kind of links into what we were saying about actions speaking louder than words. There's no service in itself, but it's just the action of music that's uplifting people.
The power of music as well.
Yeah.
And that's the thing as well. Sometimes when you have an idea, even if it may seem as basic as, well, obviously performing in Kanye's backyard isn't basic, but if you ever felt like performing in your own backyard, you never know where it will reach. You might end up at Coachella. But I'm sure that the idea just started off as simple as that.
And thing is, like, sometimes the ideas that get the most traction and that mean the most to people do start out as the simplest ones, with like no like vision of it being huge. It's just like, oh, let's just do this thing, and then they're the things that resonate with people. Like I even tweeted that Kanye might as well put his album on hold and just do a Sunday service album, because I reckon that would really resonate with people, because the vibes on it is just incredible.
Yeah, and then it's nostalgic as well, because you get to hear all those old school songs remixed, and it's just a nice vibe. Like I want to go to Sunday service.
Well, I'm gonna be in LA in like 2 weeks, so I'm putting it out there.
Why not?
Someone invite me to Sunday service. I'd gladly. Well, obviously anyone would be, but that'd be wicked. We'll do a podcast on it.
To just be immersed in like just music,
drenched in the music,
however long it is.
100%.
Just imagine some of the people in the choir. We may not necessarily know who they are, but they are definitely people in the industry who are no doubt doing big things as well. It just goes back to what you were saying about Beyonce. It's like we only ever see the artists up front, but you never really get to see who's behind the scenes, like putting in all this hard work and effort. Because Beyonce comes on, she performs 26 songs, but she's not going to be the choreographer. She's not the set designer, costume designer, makeup artist. Like there's so, and that's the thing with Beyonce. Her performances are so multi-layered because the outfits are sick. Everything is just so
the whole
well
thing
thought
is
of,
well thought of. Yeah, it's a movie. You've got to think of every single thing that people see and hear and experience.
Yeah, which is also, it'll be interesting because if Kanye performed at Coachella when Beyonce put on that performance, it's like they would have been powerful performances in different ways, because Beyonce would be on the extreme of that over the top, where Kanye is going to be on the simpler side, where the focus is just thick.
We expect so.
We're yet to see. Yeah, I was about to say. We're yet to see.
Exactly. But
I feel like they should recreate it though, as if it was a Sunday service.
Just
keep it simple. Like,
I think that'd be dope.
So I think that's what people want to feel like. We want to feel like we're at a Sunday service, like we're there.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about set designs, I've heard from a couple of people that went to... So Drake has performed 3 times in the past week at the O2 Arena, which he made the O3 to coin his lyric from God's Plan. They literally changed the sign on the O2 to O3.
No way.
Yeah. Smashed it. So that's, again, talking about experience. So I've heard from a few people and I've seen a few tweets saying this is the best set design or stage design I've ever seen. And I was like, really? And then I checked it out and I was like, oh, wow. Okay.
But
That's
it looks
crazy.
simple though.
It's super simple, but from
It was
wherever
in the
you are,
middle.
yeah. So just for the listeners, he has a massive white stage in the middle, which must have projectors beaming down onto it, and it projects almost. It looks like 3D images. So
Oh, okay.
there's waves. It looks like actual waves, like hands that are kind of holding Drake up. But it's really sick. It's really sick, like the way they've done it. But what was cool this week is that Drake, who is obviously positioning to be a UK citizen.
Well, they might as well just give Drake his passport. Innit?
Yeah,
Like,
you know, right?
Drake has his national insurance number, his passport. He's just British. Like,
he is.
Because I saw another.
I wonder if he voted to leave or to stay in the EU. But anyway. So on Wednesday he brought out Gigs, who he's collaborated with, and everyone went mad. On Thursday he brought out Lethal B, I believe. But what was special is on Friday, the long-awaited return of one of the biggest UK artists, J Hus. He was in prison, and he was released on Friday, and everyone was anticipating his release. But the people that went to Drake's concert on Friday got a special surprise in that he welcomed home J Hus and brought him out, and the whole crowd went wild.
That's how you just know that Drake is connected, though, because not to say anything about J Hus, but Drake is like in another time zone, planet, world with regards to like how amazing he is and the level of his stardom. But for him to be aware of not just the UK artists, but to be aware that J Hus is coming out today and being so conscious of the fact and to be so
like he knew how much it would mean to people in that moment in terms of like being historical.
Like he's just on point.
Yeah, he's super on point.
So and that's what you do, and I think that's why we engage so much with Drake, is because you feel that sense of connection with him. Like we feel like he's one of our own. You don't really feel from many other artists, because some artists may collaborate with a UK artist because they're hot right now or they're the man of the moment. But I just feel like Drake has been here.
Yeah, and
wow.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Toronto, and I must say that the cultures between London and Toronto in particular are quite similar. But
it's a British colony, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's more that it's very multicultural. There's a lot of Caribbean influence over there too. So a lot of the references and the words and stuff, it's pretty much the same, you know. Okay. And obviously with the internet, those two cultures really linked up well. So it's big up Drake for doing that, because I can imagine being someone who looks up to Drake and J Hus, like being, I don't know, a younger artist, and seeing that moment, and that's like, wow. Can you imagine?
It was just a moment, like, but I just think anyone, it was just a moment, because I remember when I saw the video and I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I don't even know J Hus, but I've always rated J Hus as well. Yeah. As a UK rapper, because I think that he helped to take the UK rap scene to another level.
Yeah, next level.
Because he's always put out quality content. And what I like about him as well is that you just know it's J Hus.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some artists just have that in it. Like you hear the voice, you just know automatically it's J Hus, that uniqueness. So I can't wait to see what he comes up with. But it's good because it's nice that we're able to talk about UK artists almost at the same level as we're talking about American artists. Last time we were speaking about Dave. So
that's right, yeah.
And he's doing amazing things. And then obviously Real Rap Man, I don't care. Real Rap Man.
Real Rap Man.
But they're doing big things. So yeah, man. Onwards and upwards. Big up
to the culture. So guys, if you haven't listened
Oh, We didn't talk about the last
That's
episode.
that's literally what I was just doing.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
It's all good. So yeah, if you haven't listened to the last episode of For the Creators, that was with Kojo Marfo,
Yeah.
and it is such an inspiring episode. We've got so many messages and Instagram story snapshots of the episode, because it's really resonated. Kojo was really, really open with his story, battling depression and suicide, and how he made it as a creative and as an events organizer, and how he's created a whole brand in amongst real mental challenges. So yeah, definitely listen back to that. I mean, this is coming out Monday morning, so
What was your main takeaway from it?
Tenacity. Tenacity, man. The kind of stuff that he was doing, like coming from a privileged background in Ghana and like being chauffeur driven, to coming over to London and having to clean toilets, like it just goes to show that, when you're thrown into a situation, you just got to deal with it, and you got to deal with the hand that you've been dealt and play it the best you can. And sometimes, depending on the situation, you got to ignore the rules or ignore the status quo. You just got to do what you got to do. Get a job. Even he had to get a job even though he was illegal, but he did that, and he managed to better his situation. And he faced the battles that were bestowed on him, but he's plowed through. And it's really nice, especially from the time that we recorded it to now. He actually achieved one of the goals that he said on the podcast, that like one of his aspirations, and like seeing that come to fruition was really inspiring. And it just shows, just stay tenacious, and you just really just plow through, and you'll get there.
And I think the thing about him as well is that he is such a nice guy. Like, there's no ego or anything like that with him. It's so inspiring, because when I was researching him and when I interviewed him and then when I met him, I just thought, even to this day, I just still think you're such a nice guy.
He's got like a preacherness about him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's the right word. I don't know. He's just got that feel about him.
The spiritual kind of.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's a genuinely nice guy. Yeah. Like, but for me, the thing that stood out for me with Kojo was just how important mindset is. Because I remember when I was speaking to him and he mentioned that he was on the brink of suicide, right? And then within the space of 3 years, he owned his own nightclub.
Yeah.
Before he left uni. How do you go from, first of all, not even technically, he shouldn't have even been able to attend university. He just blagged his way through.
Blagged his way through.
Secondly, he was living in like a box room. And then one day he went to literally see his sister for the last time because he planned to come home and commit suicide. And then after that, just by changing his mindset, bear in mind his circumstances didn't change necessarily. It's just because he changed his mindset and decided that he wasn't going to be a victim,
Yeah.
He was going to be a warrior. And he went out and literally, when he wasn't allowed to go into nightclubs, because was he underage or he didn't have ID or something like that, and then eventually he owned his own nightclub.
Yep.
So that was so inspiring. And now he owns a really good theatre production company called My Runway Group. And they're doing amazing work with young creatives. So if you're a young creative listening and you're looking for opportunities and you want to work with a really good organisation, especially if you're into like theatre and the arts. And even for me, last year, Kojo actually gave me the opportunity to attend Porgy and Bess at the Opera. So that was amazing as well. So he's got so many great connections. So if you listen to this episode, you're going to learn so much from it. But also, if you want to connect with a really organisation, reach out to at My Runway Group on all social platforms, and also you can check out their website as well, which is myrunawaygroup.com.
Perfect. Yeah. Big up, Kojo. Thank you so much for being an amazing, open,
blessing us,
vulnerable guest. It was beautiful.
Definitely. So on that note,
we are checking out. We'll be back next week with another fantastic interview. If you please can subscribe, review us on Apple Podcasts, share us on Twitter, Instagram stories if you're listening on Spotify, share with your friends, drop us a note, all the above, please.
I think a lot of people, they send us DMs and they send us, they tag us in their stories and that, but it would really be helpful if you can leave a review on the actual episode on the podcasting platform that you're using at the time, because then that will, make more people aware of us and give them a taste of our show from your perspective. So if you can, I know that it's not possible on all platforms like SoundCloud, for example, but if you're on Apple Podcasts or any of the other ones that allow you to leave a review or comment, just please do that, as it's really helpful.
Yeah. And hashtag for the creators on Twitter. Let's get a conversation going.
Yeah, man. Join in. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us how we can improve.
Yeah.
But
all right, guys.
Until next time.
Bye.
Cheerio.